Back here live at the Waterfront Village with my friend, the zombie, Jonathan. You're looking good. Jonathan just got an awesome face paint job. What do you think?
I make turtles.
It's now time for Big D Energy with four-time Stanley Cup champ Darren McCarty and the golden voice of Neil Rule. Live on the Woodward Sports Network, 99.1 and 93.5 The Roar, the Woodward Sports app, and anywhere you listen to podcasts. Let's talk some sports. It's Big D Energy.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Big D Energy right here on the Woodward Sports Network. My name is Neil Rule. That guy over there is a four-time Stanley Cup champion, Darren McCarty. That guy in the captain's chair is the icon of Detroit sports media. He is Terry Foster, four-time Detroit Stanley Cup observer. He is T-Foss, Terry Foster. We have Sam Flannel. We have Sawyer. I'm back in the building. And, guys, the Super Bowl, we're going to cover it from every single angle. We got a ton of stuff to get to, commercials, halftime, the game. But I think you have to start, Terry. We're in Detroit. DMac, we're in Detroit. You have to stand up, and you have to celebrate the guy that no one gave a chance to, the guy who said it was all his fault, the guy who everybody said couldn't get it done, that he was the problem. The two guys, actually. But we saw it yesterday when everything was on the line, when the world was watching, when plays were needed to be made to become a Super Bowl champion. A'Shawn Robinson stood up and did the damn thing yesterday.
Oh, you mean run stopper A'Shawn Robinson?
Run stuffer, sacking the quarterback. And also, too, Terry, let's not forget that A'Shawn Robinson was just,
as we're watching,
look at that man. He was a man possessed. And Terry, you know deep down he was doing it for the city of Detroit.
He was. And I missed his big speech about how much he loves the city of Detroit and how much love we sent his way all the way out there in L.A. I'm sure that's coming any day now.
Well, it's fitting. It's Valentine's Day, DMac, because
Happy Valentine's Day.
All the love Detroit has for A'Shawn Robinson. It was on display.
Hey, guys, seriously, though. Seriously. Can't forget Brandon Powell. He was there catching punts.
Fair catching. Never a doubt.
It up, get him in position, stuff like this. All the little things needed to be done. So, I was entertained, fully entertained. Everything you said, I was entertained from the kickoff through the commercials, even though I agree with everybody else. We'll talk about this later. Probably not the strongest group of commercials we've seen, but there was some entertaining ones and stuff. Halftime show, T-Foss and I, he was thoroughly entertained. I was thoroughly entertained. It brought me back to, the late 1900s, like everybody else. So I thought it was great.
Mary J. Blige, but I was thinking about DMac. That's too much woman for him.
That's all right. Hey, Sawyer, that's all right. I was more. Anybody else, could they watch Snoop Crip walk all over the town? Like, he's still got it. 50-some years old, doing whatever else. Like,
he still got cool about him.
He does.
He is so cool. And I'm fortunate enough to call him a homie and been able to hang out with him and stuff like that. And
like hang out with him?
Like hang out with him. Like smoke more than once. I got more than once. And we buried his crew one night. Him you can never bury. He is everything you think he is, and then what you see is what you get. That's what I love about him. No matter where you see him, and there's somebody that in that sort of the gangster era rap, but whatever else, I will say that there he is, and there's my boy getting pregame medicated there. We were all wondering. So if you lost the bet, it wasn't that he didn't do it. It's the fact you didn't see him do it. So there, I had some homies out there making sure. So that's why it was all down. But what I'm saying is, here's a person that is transformed and one of the most successful musicians, artists. Like, he's transglobal. For everything else. Snoop Dogg is one of the names you hear around the world, and congratulate to him. And he's still doing it, man.
Absolutely.
Still doing it. I will watch anything he's involved in because it's him being him.
Absolutely. And we'll get into that a little bit later on. in the program, though, as we said. But hello to everybody listening on the radio, 93.5 The Word, 99.1 FM, 94.7 HD2 as well. Don't forget about the podcast page on iTunes, wherever you get your podcast. Subscribe to the Big D Energy Podcast. But our YouTube chat thread, the main thing, everybody tapping into that. Appreciate you all rolling out here on a Monday. Let's get to some of those messages. David Mentier says, Super Bowl champion A'Shawn effin' Robinson. Doughboy Steve, Robinson was a beast last night. Mike G, rule breaker. I really enjoyed the A'Shawn Bowl last night. Matt Who. So there it was.
See, I mean, we can hit our second rounders, just can't hit on them here, right? You know. But I'm happy. But in all seriousness, you watch that game. What an integral part. And I was telling you as we start breaking it down. What I noticed in the game is it was you could really tell these two coaching calling plays going back and forth, and the adjustments the Rams made, especially on defense, where you saw and you heard Collinsworth and Al Michaels talking about the defensive line overloaded, being able to stunt, which means run around defensive guys and make it a little bit harder for the offensive line than it was in the first half, because really they didn't get much pressure on them. But to be able to, how many times they bring them down? 7? You know, the most since Roger Starbuck back when Terry was like 5.
Yeah.
So the adjustments, I thought it was that was a great game. No matter what it is, back and forth, it sort of had everything.
Well, DMac, on our YouTube chat thread here, somebody brought it up. David actually said, I think we're going to have an impromptu edition of Storytime with DMac coming up with 10 minutes left in the show. T-Foss.
Snoop?
Yeah. With all due respect, T-Foss.
See, I thought Darren was going to say, we just hung out and had fun. We didn't smoke weed. I was going to call this dude a liar. Yeah. So
are you absolutely T-Foss? That's like me saying to you, right, like on your birthday or whatever like that, and you've got the pass from Fauci. Right, you're all good to go, and you're gonna sit there and not have your favorite cocktail in your favorite establishment when you know it's green light go.
Oh, I did. I just did what I wanted to do.
That's it.
And I hung out with Fauci. Fauci went out. She had a good time.
I love it. So, that's what it's all about.
So T-Foss, D. Smitty says, Mary J, I know, right? I know she was getting thick in Power Book 2, but damn, T-Foss. Your thoughts, T-Foss?
I still mess with that.
Oh,
no question.
100%. Yeah. And I heard your little snide remark that I couldn't handle that. And you know what? BS. I would have to go into a little bit of training and put on all the full armor. But that's all. That's all woman.
She might smash you, dude.
Yeah, T-Foss.
And you know what? That's the idea.
Look,
the idea is that
we love him.
You know what? Here, I think
I'm all about overachieving and overaccomplishing.
Okay. So, Neil.
You
wouldn't, if you had opportunity, and you weren't married, of course. I know you're not messing with any woman, but you wouldn't be interested in that.
Well, I can admit, unlike DMac, and DMac's an ex-professional athlete, a lot of pride, obviously, a lot of belief, self-belief, and everything like that. I, however, am willing to admit that Mary J. Blige in her state yesterday was far too much for me to handle.
Too much? Okay.
Yeah, I can be honest about it.
I could see that. And, there's nothing wrong with that.
See, Neil, that's where we're different.
That is.
See, because it's like Mission Impossible. If I choose to take the mission, right? That's all the whole thing. You know what you're up against.
Now, she's not fat. She's thick.
No, she's all woman. But do you know what though?
That's what I call a real woman.
There's so much knowledge and power, and that is to me like that is a real like a woman, that's been through life that could teach you everything about life.
Oh, she could.
That's what I'm saying.
Twice and 3 times
over
too.
And you let her. Anyways. Great halftime show.
It certainly was. Naki 23, Oakland University versus Detroit Mercy. What a game. I've never watched it before, and I listened to your play-by-play. Amazing. Kudos. That was a great comeback. It was a big win yesterday.
Yeah, got off to a little slow start, but then end up blowing them out.
Yeah, T-Foss was checking in. Absolutely.
4 minutes here and there.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I appreciate that, though, Naki. Appreciate you all that watched yesterday. It is a good – see, that's the thing is where – I would, because usually what I do, my boys, they all go out to Vegas for the Super Bowl, and they were out there, and we had 3 games this week, so we were on the road as I wasn't here last week. Then we had a game.
I told you guys he was drinking that gypsy vodka with 2 limes. It was Vegas. It wasn't down south. He was with his boys in Vegas.
So I had to miss it, but I do understand the TV ratings are high on Super, because everyone I think has just accepted you're going to watch TV on Sunday. It's almost like a de facto New Year's Day, T-Foss, where you're committed to watching television.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I can't watch 6 hours of Super Bowl preview because I've already gotten a week full of Super Bowl, media day and everything, and then you're supposed to sit down and watch 6 hours of that again on Sunday?
Yeah, but you live
not
it,
happening
Terry.
with me.
But we live it, so we're oversaturated. So some people might, some people. I mean, I don't need it. Although, what time did you? Would you say you picked? I say I picked up viewing around 5.
Yeah, I got back to the house after all the post game stuff. I got back to the house. It was probably about 5:30ish.
Right, and then that's enough. But I mean, yeah, it started at noon and all that stuff. But some people, I guess, it's like you said, if you're making it a day of it, a lot of people have Super Bowl parties and all that stuff. So yeah, I agree with you, Terry. But we're surrounded by it, so I think we're a little biased.
Now, we didn't mention the young man's name, but I can't remember his name, the Los Angeles Rams quarterback.
Well, right here.
According to sources, he used to play for the Lions.
Really?
That's what
Now,
I
I knew Brandon Powell used to play for the Lions. Fair catch, punt, fair catch extraordinaire.
Yep.
I know that he did. Obviously, we know A'Shawn Robinson did, and he had an impact on the football game. Well, here's one right here. Cam says, Stafford sacrificed so much of himself for Detroit on the field, was an incredible philanthropist off the field. Seeing that clip of him with his 3 girls post-game was a tearjerker. And I think your autocorrect misspelled Robinson and changed it to Stafford for some reason. So, that's okay, though. But, obviously we're going to get into that. And the whole Stafford thing just continues to amaze me, Terry. Have you ever seen a story like this? I mean, in Detroit sports media, that has gripped everybody, and it won't let go. No, Terry, Justin Verlander wasn't at this level.
This level. This is football, and this guy, we had opinions about Stafford forever. He can't win a playoff game. He's not that good. He's not an elite quarterback. Well, you put him on another team, and we see that he's probably better than we think he is. And here's the other thing about him. He did it without a running game.
Yeah, they were ineffective.
I've talked to Charlie Batch. I've talked to John Kitna and other Lion quarterbacks, and, kind of in private moments on why they failed. And they always told me this: you don't have a running game for one game, 1 month, or 1 quarter, you're screwed. He didn't have a running game basically for the whole playoffs.
Right.
He didn't have a running game, and he lost Odell, who looked like at the beginning of that game or until he got hurt might have been the MVP of the game.
He was on one.
He was on one. You could tell, and then it's unfortunate that he got hurt, but he didn't have him either. And I don't know about you, but the moment seemed a little bit too big for Van Jefferson. And I mentioned to you the moment seemed a little too big for Cooper Kupp early on in that game, but great players find a way, right? And all these guys, what you mentioned, you can't win championships alone. No matter how good you are, it just goes to show you that it's that piece to the puzzle. So hopefully what I learned there is that if you get the team right and you can bring in the right quarterback, if you don't have the luxury of drafting them like you do a Joe Burrow or a first rounder, it's possible to win in this league. So that's what I take from it. And also congratulations to those guys. I'm happy.
Tammy Chin on our YouTube chat thread says, I thought Mary J. Blige looked amazing. Now 50 Cent needs to stop hanging upside down. 50 was taking some heat on social media.
I thought that was a giant bat at first. And I said, because my wife and I looked and said, who is that? I said, it's a giant bat. I said, oh, it's 50. But I guess when he's upside down, he's just a nickel.
Yeah. Well, I heard somebody say he's 250 now.
Yeah, 250. Yeah. Speaking of thick.
There you go.
There
you go. Is anybody worried about him falling?
I don't know. That was a pretty sweet setup, though. But we'll get into that. We'll get into the halftime. We'll get into the commercials. Of course, when we get back, we'll discuss Matt Stafford and the game itself. By the way, there was a game yesterday, too, which we'll break that down as well. We'll set up the YouTube chat poll of the day where we've decided whether DMac wants to or not. It's going to be story time with DMac towards the end of the show.
I already sent Sawyer a picture.
Yeah, so beautiful. I love the way this is going. This show runs itself, everybody. But you know what? We were talking about all the different angles. Foaling Warehouse, there's more than one angle. Certainly there's the entertaining game of foaling. But Sawyer goes to the Foaling Warehouse for something entirely different.
Yeah, the entertaining game of the mystery beer machine.
100%.
Every time you throw the $2 in, it gives you something random out. So much fun. I mean, such a great way to spend $2. If you have $2 bills, there you go. That's a good use for them. Instead of just leaving them in your wallet or in your piggy bank or something, that'll work great there. I mean, you can go to the Foaling Warehouse to do it. Large warehouse, multiple lanes to play. Show up, pay $10, stay all day, throw till your arm falls off, or just rent a private lane. Do your corporate events there, family reunions, just friendly get-togethers if you want to rent ahead in advance, because the place does get packed on weekends, especially now that the football season's over. Everybody's going to be itching to see some football, and what better way to get a little taste than go to the Foaling Warehouse? You can feel like Matthew Stafford for a little bit, feel like Joe Burrow as you're knocking down pins. Imagine it's Jamar Chase. I don't know. It's a good way to do it, though. Great way to spend your day on a Saturday. So you got to go check them out. Bring your own food, too. You don't have to pay for overpriced bar food or like stadium food or anything. You can just Uber Eats in. You can pack your own lunch, bring it in, set up at a table, eat, enjoy yourself, then keep on playing some foaling. It's perfect. Such a great way to just relax with the fam, with the friends, or just by yourself if you want to get the arm release. You know, I'm pretty sure they have leagues there, so if you're trying to get in there, get some practice going, get dialed in on the pens, then start wrecking them up. So all you guys got to do is go to thefoalingwarehouse.com. I'll say it again for you. It's thefoalingwarehouse.com, or just show up in person at the Foaling Warehouse in Hamtramck. This is Big D Energy. We got Neil back on the desk today. D-Mac's on the desk as usual. We got T. Fost in the couch. Sam Flannel making sure we sound good, and I'm in here keeping us live. We'll be right back here on Woodward Sports Network.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
20 seconds.
Comerica Park, sunshine, the crack of the bat. More sunshine, warmth. We're almost there, Detroit. Summer 2022 will be the summer of Woodward Sports. We just gotta make it through this damn cold first.
Off and running here, day after the Super Bowl. Neil Rule, Darren McCarty, Uncle Terry Foster in the building as well. Sam Flannel, Sawyer, doing it all here today. We're talking Super Bowl, and yes, we're going to get into the Stafford thing. Now, on our YouTube chat thread, you guys know, and you guys fire messages off on there, and there's no way I could keep up with all of them and everything that's going on. But every now and then you get one that you have to freeze the scroll on. And this was it. Ludacris. 50 Cent was looking like a cocoon hanging up there.
True that.
Yeah, well, I want to have like a serious Super Bowl. I at least want to take one segment and talk about the game, like geeky game stuff. But not the YouTube chat thread people. They just want to talk about 50 Cent and his choice of tank top, and he's hanging up there looking like a cocoon and all that stuff. And I knew exactly that's how it was going to go, and that's fine. So, DMac,
give the people what they want.
Yeah, 100%, T-Foss. But we do want to set up the YouTube chat poll. And Sawyer, here's the thing, and we're going to get into the Stafford stuff because I think it ties in nicely to this. For me, as it became apparent after Aaron Donald made play after play coming down the stretch of that game, it became apparent that the Bengals were going to lose, obviously, when they didn't convert the fourth down. And I got to thinking, what if that were the Lions out there in the Bengals spot with a fourth quarter lead, with a lead at the end, and the other team comes down and wins? And I was thinking about this question, and I want you guys to answer honestly. Would you rather the Lions go and lose or not go at all? And I'm not talking about like playoff wins and stuff like that. Would you rather the Lions go to the Super Bowl and lose or not go at all? It's a pretty simple question.
go and lose, because you know what? It shows that if you do that, you're a real franchise.
Well, Terry, I'm saying that under the assumption of, like, okay, say they get to the point where they win a playoff game here and there. You know what I'm saying? Like,
okay, why wouldn't you want to go through a process where you win 3 playoff games and make it to the ultimate prize? A lot of franchises pride themselves, we made the Super Bowl. They even talk about winning. I think the Lions are in a position where they got to show this fan base that they're competent. They got to show this fan base that they can win a playoff game. So I'd be all in favor of them going to a Super Bowl and losing, even if it's in tragic style. But at least it shows that you're something. Right now, the Lions are nothings. We don't talk about them as far as Super Bowl.
In football, it's the most accepted. Winning your comp, everybody sort of settles and accepts it if you win the AFC or NFC championship and get to the Super Bowl. Like, it's the only one where there's something taken from it, and I don't know why. It's just the temperature, right? I've won 4 cups, lost in 2 finals, and those ones stink. But it's like you don't take, I got 4 firsts and 2 seconds. You know what I mean? No. You forget about the rest of it. But in football, maybe because it's so hard to get there, because of the 1 games, I think in this town, to Terry's point, let's work on winning a game. Let's get there. If we were in that position like the Bengals were, stuff like that, to get heartbroken, we've never been in that spot. And how can we go, like, it's one of the only fan bases ever that you can go to your parents, right? Almost to your grandparents for some of us. And you're in the same boat. We're all going to watch the same thing. Hey, because now you look, the people that are passing away are the ones that have seen the wins in the 50s.
Right.
Instead, like, that's just the reality of it. So as a Detroit fan base, yes, we take it in a second if that's what it's about, to show that we're moving forward and getting better. Right, anything's better than this. But yes, Neil, to your point, there is this heartbreak. I mean, Cincinnati. If we're sitting here and to lose like they did hurts also. But there's something in that they are thinking they can get back, right? And hopefully this sparks the fact of what would you think if you're Cincinnati today and you're the Brown family, right, who's cheaper than anybody else, lowest payroll, but to whatever, and realize you're that close. And if you just had a little bit more on that offensive line, you probably win, if you're realistic. So, right, because we compared the Detroit Lions and the Cincinnati Bengals, right? So let's compare ownership, right, where they got to that spot. So hopefully if Sheila is the Browns, the Lions are the Bengals, and got to this point and lost, that she would realize how close it is and add to it and make sure that gives it a chance. I think that because they won in this era with the young guys they have and the fan base they have and the way that they've done it, the Browns it's going to be really, really hard. I shouldn't say they don't have a choice, but if they have the temperature, they're going to realize that they got to do things differently. That's what we're hoping for here in Detroit, that ownership does things differently. Now, have we seen it by just building the foundation and the basement with bringing in Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell and what we saw last year? Yeah. So it's a stepping stone. We're in a different position than Cincinnati because we didn't draft. If we were going to do the Cincinnati run, we were supposed to do it when we drafted Stafford. Unfortunately, he moved on. But there is a path.
But the Bengals, since they sniffed it, it may change ownership's position. I always compare it to, like, if you're sitting around the house, there's no pizza in the house, you're not going out to get pizza necessarily. But if that pizza is in the oven or in the kitchen, guess what? You're going to eat a slice. And so now maybe the Bengals are like, okay, we're right there. I know we've been cheap, but if we just spend a little money, we can get there again. Maybe we can win it. The other thing is we as a sports society pick and choose which championship games are important. For instance, Tom Izzo. What is the first thing we say about Tom Izzo?
All those Final Fours.
The 7 Final Fours. We don't talk about the 6 he lost. We talk about the 7 he went to. But another thing, in the NFL, every team that makes the Super Bowl, we praise except one, the Buffalo Bills, because they went there too many times and lost them all.
4 in a row.
Right. So you can get there, and we're cool with it. But if you go there too many times and don't win, we're like, okay, what's wrong with y'all?
How about this? And YT Sparty just struck this chord with me. But what the Rams did, and I mentioned it before, is sort of what the 02 Hall of Fame Red Wing team did, is they mortgaged every future, bought it, everybody and did it, and got it done. And came through it, you know what I mean? Their end goal. Now, they're not worried about the future. They never were. They were worried about winning that one trophy, one championship. So again, it'll be interesting because of the trajectory they put their organization on to mortgage it for this championship, but they got it. That's the whole thing.
Yeah,
they accomplished what they wanted.
It never gets taken away. In our YouTube chat thread and our chat poll and everything, would you rather the Lions make the Super Bowl and lose or not go at all? And the comments are a little more split than the actual poll voting is. Aston says we need to go to 1 at least. Jake Wegener says go and lose. At least get us out of the never been basement. Our guy, Adam Baydoun from the morning show, go and lose. At least it shows you know what you are doing. I'm saying this under the premise of you've won a couple of playoff games now. You know what I'm saying? It's not just coming out of nowhere. Juice's Ghost says, dude, if the Lions made it to the Super Bowl and lose, it would be so heartbreaking. Especially in that fashion.
It's true, it would be, but you want you need that to happen. I didn't want to lose the first.
You got to think about the journey, too.
Absolutely.
Getting there. This town, if they just made it, and the game is 2 weeks from now, this town would be going nuts. And, yeah, they would be disappointed if the Lions lost. But you know what? It shows that you at least are competent enough to get there.
Yeah. Well,
this franchise can't make it.
I'll put it on you then, DMac. New Jersey Devils, Detroit Red Wings.
Right.
But did you take something away from getting there and losing?
Absolutely, we did, because and looking back and not seeing it at the moment, but without getting that was sort of the first serving of getting like punched in the face and sort of taking it to what happened. But it was sort of like the precipice to the caveat. Because these two combined, losing and standing there, and you got to remember, I remember Drapes and I were standing in the creases, Jersey celebrating, he looks at me, he goes, we can never let this happen again. I said, I know. And this is like our second year, right? So you got to remember, we're young, we're like Burrow, you know, not the talent, not comparing the talent, but comparing the sort of age, like Burrow and Chase, right? We're looking down. But it wasn't until next year where you get back on it, you get 62 wins, and then you lose to Colorado, and you realize, oh my God, this is conference finals. We may never get back to the finals. So losing, and I guess why it helped, Neil, is because we were supposed to go into New Jersey and annihilate them and be the big bad red machine, right? And that didn't happen. It was the opposite.
But DMac, what if you never got back?
Then I wouldn't have 4.
What if you never got back?
If we would have won that,
I'm saying you lose that series to the Devils, Stanley Cup Finals. And what if you never get back? Is it okay then? Like how people
then you
are.
Don't get to ask me this question.
No. You see what I'm saying though? Like people are
get to ask me this question.
Like 80% of the people are saying I want them to go and lose. So I ask you, if you never got back, would it have been okay? Hell no, it wouldn't have been okay with you. I know you. Like,
oh, it wouldn't have been okay. But I mean, but if that's the top of the mountain that I got to, then I'd have to embrace the fact that I got there. If that's all I had, right? We got nothing here. So that is like the Super Bowl. Like Terry said, just to celebrate for 2 weeks before that, forget the game. Because that showed over after years and years and years and decades of ineptitude that maybe now the Lions are going in the right direction. So
unfair question.
Yeah.
Because the Wings were a real organization building towards something. And when they lost to the New Jersey Devils. So that was just the beginning of greatness. The Lions have never even been there. We don't know if they have an organization that's building towards something. We assume they do, but we don't know that because they have year after year after year of failure, incompetence, bad luck. And but the Wings, you knew something was going to happen. If they only made one Stanley Cup, guess what? They would have been ripped.
Yes.
Underachievers. You thought you were all that, and you weren't.
But
see, that's the thing. that disappoints me. This town lets the Lions get away with all kinds of stuff.
You know where
His team, we won't let them do that.
You know where this conversation? This is between the Maple Leafs, Toronto Maple Leafs fan base, and the Detroit Lions fan base. This is where the conversation lies.
It's the exact same thing. But that Red Wings team had Sergei Fedorov, so they were obviously going to get it done. Whose number should be hanging in the rafters because of it? We're the end of football season, DMac. We get to have that show coming up pretty soon. I can't wait for it. Yeah. Also can't wait for you to check out the Sports Marketing Agency. SMA has been leveraging pro athletes and other notables for a decade against the issues around mental health and substance use disorder. With the help of NFL alumni, Sean Jordan has been able to save lives and take a stand against these issues. Coming soon to Woodward Sports, the Sports Marketing Agency podcast, this is The F Word, a series on fentanyl. If you're struggling with substance abuse or mental health, they are here to help. Go to thesportsma.com. Again, that's thesportsma.com, and check out the Sports Marketing Agency.
6 dark corners, a driveway and a patio, 5 windows that could become doors. Every house has unique security challenges. Guardian Alarm has more tech, more team, and more ways to help keep them all safe. Get a professionally designed and installed security and smart home system from Guardian Alarm. Sign up today and get a free video device. Guardian Alarm. Smart, right from the start. Call 1-800-STAY-OUT.
Woodward Sports. Missed part of the show today? Watch again on YouTube or download the podcast anywhere you listen to podcasts.
Back at it, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neil Rule, T. Foss, Terry Foster, D-Mac, Darren McCarty, Sam Flannel, and Sawyer in the house. Let's jump into it then. The whole Matt Stafford saga. Everybody, fire it off right now. The YouTube chat thread, Twitter, our Twitter handles are on the screen. Speak your final piece on the Matt Stafford thing, because we touched on a little bit last segment, but we're going deep here, and I'll get my thoughts out there, and I'm curious to get both of your reaction to this. I thought it was very on brand for Matt Stafford to throw for 283 yards, 3 touchdowns, have a game-winning drive in the fourth quarter of the Super Bowl, and not be named MVP. That's Matt Stafford, I thought, in a nutshell, Terry. It was a perfect description, I think.
Well, it is, but I mean, you have to look at that point in the game. So I was thinking Cooper Kupp or Aaron Donald, and Stafford was my third choice.
Right. What wasn't even in the discussion, I thought.
Here's the thing. At that point, Cincinnati's like, okay, all we got to do is stop Cooper Kupp. We win this game. And they didn't do it. They bracketed him. They double-teamed him. And he still managed a way to get open. Stafford did find him. So that's why this is a team game. Now, I think this. Not sure about this, but I think the reason Aaron Donald didn't get MVP is because the Super Bowl has an archaic way of deciding who the Super Bowl MVP is. They still do it by paper, first of all, not electronically. So they pass out paper to like, it's probably 9 to 11 media members with 5 minutes left in the game. And then they're on your ass about turn it in. You better turn it in. You can't wait. So I think if they had waited until the final gun, Aaron Donald either would have won or he would have had more votes. I don't know. Still may have gone to Cooper Kupp, but I thought Aaron Donald made a very strong case of being MVP too.
D-Mac, so I'll ask you. To me, it was very on. Matt Stafford's day in the Super Bowl was very on brand for him.
Oh, absolutely. 100%. You know what I mean? And how many times, like, he pulled it out. He did what he needed to do, and whether he put himself behind the 8 ball, you know, the unnecessary maybe throw, interception in the end zone. I love McVay. You know, just McVay was so mad at that one and stuff like that. We're trying to make it to do it, but at the end of the day, he got it done, right? The work that we hear all year long, what we've seen with Cooper Kupp and Matt Stafford, well, boom, they got it done. And then at the end, to your point, I mean, I'm biased. I had Aaron Donald plus 1,600 to be the MVP, but no worries about that. But the last two, like the play, and I told you that nobody's talking about that I haven't heard, is the third down play that Aaron Donald wraps up the running back and holds them to 4th and 1, and then decides. I don't know about you guys, But every time they focused in on Aaron Donald, and it started with the conference championship when they make it a point. Aaron Donald doesn't say much, and he's got the defense over there on the sideline. Well, you saw that. You see this in this guy's eyes, and I guess I've been around enough champions or enough 0.1 percentile elite players that you see it in his eyes. He's going to take over the game. In his eyes, what I saw there with 2 minutes left, 3 minutes left, when they go to him every time there's an incomplete pass or there's a chance or whatever like this, is him going, I got to do it myself. I'm going to have to. And what did I text you before that last drive? And I made sure I text you. I go, watch this. This is the Aaron Donald show. He probably strips it, and A'Shawn, your boy, will fall on it. But I said, this is Aaron Donald time. Did I not? Did I just say, watch Aaron Donald?
And that was, remember when we were breaking this game down, that was my thing. I said, Aaron Donald will make a play. I thought Jalen Ramsey will make a play, but Aaron Donald made two.
And his teammates, but right there. And here's the one thing. Do you have that nobody understands? And it's more or less when we go back to Jimmy G in the Super Bowl overthrowing Emmanuel Sanders, what everybody's about. On this last play here, there is a tweet that I'm going to show you that if you look at the bottom of the field, if Joe Burrow at all can unload that, Jamar Chase is gone. Jalen Ramsey's fallen down, which, by the way, I give the nod to that matchup to
Jamar Chase. That's fair.
Chase.
But it didn't get down to that.
But it didn't get down to that.
Because of that.
And that's the thing. Because that extra, here's the thing. Whatever that split second, that tenth of a second, that 2/10, whatever that time is that Aaron Donald crunches down is the time it took for them to make a play. He made the plays that mattered. So irregardless, I don't think that they're worried about it. They're just happy they won.
YT Sparty on our YouTube chat thread says Cooper Kupp gets MVP. That's a big FU to Stafford in the Hall of Fame. I don't believe that. Stafford, even if they lost the Super Bowl, Stafford's still going to be a Hall of Famer, T. Just the numbers are going to be so great just because of the duration that he's been in the league. And, yeah, he does put up numbers. But I just thought everything was so on brand for Matt Stafford. And it's not being a hater. And you guys know, for me, I wanted the Rams to lose because I'm a Lions fan, and it was about business for me. And I know that wasn't the case for everybody, and I respect that. I understand that. But I'm not going out and rocking a Detroit Rams Super Bowl champion hoodie either.
They got him?
Absolutely.
Yeah, they got him. I was going to get you one. So you're not going to wear it?
No, but pass on that. Okay. Just get me a bottle of bourbon instead.
Okay. But people have to understand, Matt Stafford is making the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Yeah, but he was making that numbers before.
I think so, too.
Now he's got a championship. It didn't have to be an MVP, but he's got a championship. He's passed for 5,000 yards. And I think what history is going to say is, okay, he escaped Detroit. He showed what type of quarterback he is as far as winning or losing. Here in Detroit, he proved he could put up stats. And stats get you in the Hall of Fame. This is not the Baseball Hall of Fame. It's easier to make the Pro Football Hall of Fame than it is the Baseball Hall of Fame. So I think I thought his resume was already written before he left the Lions. He was going to get in at some point, just need a few more years in this league. Now that he's a Super Bowl champion, which is more important, he's going to be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. May not be first ballot, but he'll get in. No question.
CJ Schneider says 31 versus 32 is insignificant, Neil. And no, that my business principles still hold true. It's a better advantage, going all the way back to the 19. And that's fine. It's just I didn't have this deep connection to him that everybody else did. And I know, and sort of kind of put you on the spot a little bit, I got a tweet this morning from a fan, and I read it, and it did resonate with me. But the difference for me was that as far as I went, that was something I was consistent with, where Stafford's gone. He's not coming back. And it just doesn't matter to me if he wins. Even if a draft capital wasn't attached to it, which is, I think, Terry, when you boil all this down, this whole stat, and people are saying it's over, move on. No, it's not over. I think people prove that it's not over. And this debate is so unique because failure was tied to an advantageous situation for the team that I root for, and his success hurt the situation of the team that I root for, not because out of spite or embarrassment or anything like that. Strictly business. You know me, Terry. Analytical business.
Yours is strictly business, but we live in a town where we don't let go of our pro athletes. Just because you leave doesn't mean you're not one of us. And so if you have a strong enough connection with athletes who leave, you still our boy. But that's just the way Detroit is. Other cities, Philadelphia, maybe Chicago, when you gone, you gone. That's it.
That's true. No, and that's true. And then looking at if you got to rank, the value, you saw the 3 most valuable guys on a team in the LA Rams step up when they needed to. Aaron Donald is the most valuable. And then to me, Stafford's got to be 2 because he touches the ball and he throws it to Kupp. That's the only reason why. But what Cooper Kupp did, and here's the one thing that you saw. I saw some things where you look for the Super Bowl moment. Is the lights too bright? And a little bit early on in the game, I thought it was. Cooper Kupp didn't look comfortable. But at the end of the day, what you put in to get out, when Matt Stafford was asked about the last touchdown, and he just laughs and says, that's just thousands of hours of work. That's just communication. That's all it is. That's what it is. So they got it done. Right.
Let me see here. Mike Malik says Stafford and Kupp will both go into the Hall of Fame. And Stephen Baffy says if Marino's in, Stafford has to be a lock now. And I agree with you, and I thought he was a lock before, just based on the pure numbers of it. And, again, it's one of those things where we're going to are we going to fire this up again? I guess that's my main question to everybody, T. Foss. All the people with the Detroit Rams T-shirts and, the Stafford apologists and fans and all that stuff. And again, I feel I always have to qualify this and say I'm not a hater. He did a lot of great things in the community. He seems like a nice enough guy, ... He's not the quarterback of the team I root for anymore, so I don't care what happens. But in this case, it's unique because I want my team to be better off, which he loses. We've covered that 100 times. But are the Detroit Rams people still are they gonna fire the engines back up again next playoff season if the Rams get in the playoffs again? Are they gonna be back on there saying, "Come on, Matt, let's go again one more time"?
Well, I think the people wearing the T-shirts, part of it is a joke. They'll wear it for a couple weeks and say, "Look at my Detroit Rams T-shirt, isn't it cool?" And then they'll throw it in the back of the laundry, and maybe they'll bring it back up next year.
Be paint on it, paint stain. It's the paint and shirt, the outdoor.
Let's have fun. Let's have fun with a situation where we don't have a franchise in Detroit, and then and people follow the Rams because of Stafford, so they just call them the Detroit Rams. So, it's just let's try to enjoy sports a little bit, and I think that's what they're doing mostly.
Do you think they're going to be back though, Terry? You think next January when the playoffs start back up again, we're going to run this again?
Yes.
You think so? To this degree, though?
No.
Okay.
Because we've already seen it. We had our fun. We had a little Stafford thing. Obviously they'll bring it back up, but it won't be to this extent because we've already seen this movie before. And guess what? The Rams probably won't win it next year.
Yeah, it's so hard to do.
Well, that's the whole thing is that you look at their team and stuff like this is will they be in the same spot? No, to me this is like Terry said. It's sort of there's some part because they've invested all this time in Matt Stafford and Stafford fans, and some because they're mad at the Lions and they can't do anything in the aptitude. It's the closest thing they think they'll get. But the other ones, it's because it's a joke. Just to remember, what are you gonna do in a few years from now or whatever like that? You're rummaging, cleaning out your closet, going to look for something to do the yard work with or whatever, and you find your Detroit Rams shirt, and you sit and you go,
Detroit Rams
remember
shirt.
That was funny, right?
Man.
That was funny.
Detroit Rams.
Right? Like,
and I don't hate the hustle.
Goes again.
I agree with Terry.
Look,
I think
that's a big. Okay, let's do it,
fun.
Terry. I know we got to get to the break. I know we do. And look, love John Yu. Love everything he does over there at the Pro Sports Zone. And I'm a big proprietor of business, obviously. If you guys if there's a market for it, I don't blame John for producing them and selling them.
One.
Good. Go ahead, Terry. That's embarrassing, man. Detroit Rams.
Why is it embarrassing
Detroit
if you're taking
Rams.
it as a joke? Right? It's like that's what I think half the people around here.
That
it's a joke,
funny.
but it's also to the backhanded slap to the Lions.
Right.
Do you
saying
think,
if I'm going to put a Detroit
this
Rams
is what
shirt,
I love.
if I'm no, it doesn't matter, but it's at least me trying.
This is what I love.
That's what I'm
dude.
saying. It's sort of a bit of a protest.
T-Boss, you've talked to him. You've talked to Lions
silent
ownership.
Protest? This is sort of like a little bit up from Gandhi.
Like because Detroit Rams Super Bowl champion sweatshirts are selling the Fords.
Because
the
it
Fords are going to be
pisses
like,
off people
you know
like
what?
you.
We should start doing a good job with this football team.
Right, Terry?
You know what? The Fords, no, they're not going to say, hey, we should do a good job, because they don't know what they're doing. That's something that you have to take into consideration. But what it does, it's a reminder that you haven't done anything here. No, is it going to make them a better owners? No. But you're sending the message to other fans. You're having a little chuckle with other fans. I think you take this way too seriously, dude. Way too serious.
Yeah.
Because I'd wear one.
I mean, if you take it serious, if you get to the point where it's serious, I think it's some way it'd be like silent protest where you don't respect your ownership, because how are you going to do that? If you put a hockey jersey on in this town to represent or something else other than like the Red Wings or whatever like that, it's not going to end well, right? Like, I would take offense to that because of what we've done. I'm in the same boat as everybody else, is what the Lions have done with us. So people are they enjoy it. I see the ones that enjoy it. The ones that take it so serious or get mad at it, this wouldn't happen if you respected the team you're talking about.
I'll tell you what I enjoy, DMac.
I enjoy
my haircut experience.
Because it's looking good.
Thank you.
It's got to be the haircut, guys. I know football season's over. The clock isn't running. Yada, yada, yada. You feel the way you did about the Super Bowl, but it's time for a haircut. Get the dome done, boys, because we like things uncomplicated. That's Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. You walk in, you sign, and you sit down. Before you know it, you're handsome and clean. Get to Lady Jane's, open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome. The Professor T. Foss, Neil Rule, D-Mac, Big D Energy. Right back. Woodward Sports Network.
Life is full of hard choices. We're here to make one of life's biggest decisions as simple as possible. My name is Christina Gennari, and for over 20 years, I've helped hundreds of families buy and sell homes. We cover all of Metro Detroit and more, from large luxury homes to starter homes. We will work hard to make sure that you get the home of your dreams. So if you're in the market today or even thinking about buying or selling in the future, make the obvious choice. Christina Gennari, the obvious choice in real estate. Visit us at soldchristina.com today.
Putting on a show here, and that's how you answer. We love our sports. We just wish they'd love us back. Detroit sports for Detroit sports fans. Woodward Sports.
Back at it, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neil Rule, T-Foss, Terry Foster, D-Mac, Sam Flannel, and Sawyer here in the house. Appreciate y'all tapping in on a Monday after the Super Bowl. Tammy Chin says, John didn't create the shirt. He's only selling it. Yeah, no, I understand that, and it's cool. It's cool that they're selling it. For real, it is. Like, go make you're in business to make money. So I have zero problem with the people selling it. And if, like, T-Foss, I get it. Like, if you're buying it as a joke to be funny. The same way I wanted, the same way I wanted the A'Shawn Robinson half Rams, half Lions jersey. If that were available, I would have bought it.
But it's the same thing.
And it's the same concept.
Brought up to the half Brady, New England Brady Bucks jersey that was like right. It goes around. I mean, it's just.
Actually, I would have bought a Brandon Powell half Lions, half Rams jersey. I would have bought that.
I'm afraid if I wear my Detroit Rams shirt, Neil's gonna beat my ass.
Well, you'd only beat your ass, as Ryan said, is that we're getting to the gist of it, because I think that he ran into somebody with the Detroit Rams shirt on with too many items in the 12-item line, Ryan. I think you're right. Too many, no rules, too many lines at checkout. I think that's really bothering me.
No, it is not. Hey, you can take as many as you want in there, as long as you're on the hustle when you're doing it. It's these people that try to scan it, and sometimes things have two different barcodes, and they're trying to scan the wrong barcode, and then they're trying to get the person scan the right barcode and move on. You can take as many in there as you want, as long as you have some urgency to doing it, and you're not standing there making a career out of it. No, but we're talking about the Stafford thing.
The comparison was for quarterbacks, not teams.
Okay. Yeah, but the Stafford thing, and I referenced earlier, I got a tweet from a fan, and it was a picture of his son. And so this is my son, Liam. He'll be 11 next month. He wears his jersey with pride today, going to school here in Indianapolis. The only QB he rooted for growing up until Jared Goff just won the Super Bowl. Like I said, connected. Who do you think his favorite quarterback is? And you know what? And that came from James Gurns. And you know what, James? Like, your son's 11, man. Like that's. I was like that when I was a kid. I'm sure kids across the country are like that. Again, for me, and I won't be critical. I've never been critical of that. And sorry, I'll ask you: Have I ever been critical of people that like Stafford or cheer for Stafford? I've never been critical. I just wanted to understand why.
Yeah, and you just throw the facts out there. So I mean, you're not being a hater. You're just throwing out the truth and the facts.
Thank you, and that's all. That's all that I was looking for. And I would say to your son, then that's great. Go ahead. I mean, he's 11. I'm sure he doesn't understand, the concept of the rookie contract, especially if you can get a quarterback with that 32nd pick, and how you got a quarterback now for $2 million a year, like Lamar Jackson, and those types of things. Like, I'm sure he doesn't grasp that. He just knows that he loves Stafford, and that's cool. And if you're like that, I'm cool with it. But for me, it's just that's why
it's different than that. It's the same
business.
It's the same thing when you say, listen, I don't want these athletes or entertainers raising my kids. I'll do that.
Love watching Tyreek Hill play.
When you say that, it's the same thing as like, hey, Matt Stafford, whatever, but you're not here. I'm about the Lions. I need draft capital.
Yeah.
I need to improve. I want to be there, right? I don't begrudge because we all have the 11-year-old in us. That's why I said, I don't know what you've invested into the 12 years Matthew Stafford's been here, whether you look at whether you want athletes to raise your kid. Everybody's got their own opinion and whatever it is because it's come through this town. You are always hard on the facts, how to get the team better, right? It's irrelevant to who
Doesn't
the
matter
person
to me.
the kid cheers for.
Yeah, it doesn't matter to me. And if you do you. Like, I just want people to be happy. Because, T-Foss, life's easier when people are happy. It's easier to go to the grocery store.
That is true.
It's easier to go about your business. It's easier to drive and if people are
you don't
happy.
Get elbows in the grocery store.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially when you're trying to work your way through with 22 items and the 20-item checkout. But I'm going to be fast about it, and I'm not going to. No Doug Fungus in our YouTube chat thread. I'm not going to write a check for this stuff. But there are people that do that. Now, Doug, I'll ask you this: do you want me in there with 31 items and a sense of urgency in the 20-item checkout, or do you want some elderly person with 6 items that's going to write a check? We know the answer to that.
Yeah, no checks. Checks should be outlawed in the grocery store.
Exactly.
Baseline.
All right. Well, hey, nice that we can agree on something.
Cody Engel.
We agree on a lot of stuff here.
Well, we do, but not today.
Cody Engel says, Neil, it's just a T-shirt. And I get that. But for me, and you know what, too? Low-key, Sawyer, you'll appreciate this. I'm keeping some receipts, man. I am, because for the first time since the early 90s, T-Foss, and I think we had this discussion earlier in the season, maybe about 6 weeks ago, maybe 2 weeks or 2 months ago, whatever it was. I am on board. For the first time since the 90s, I'm on board with the Lions and the direction they're going, and with Brad Holmes and the value of draft capital, and the Amon-Ra St. Brown thing that I've talked about 100 times on here. The fact that his whole contract is less than Kenny Galladay will make in September next year. That's how you change a franchise. That's how you go win playoff games, because you have a capable receiver making $800,000 a year. That's what the Bengals are doing. That's why the Bengals are all set up right now. I am on board, but T-Foss, I'm keeping some receipts of these people that say, I don't care about a draft pick. I want Stafford to win. I'm keeping receipts, T-Foss.
Okay, and get one on me. I didn't care about the draft pick either, because they're going. If Brad Holmes is a good GM, he will get a quality player.
Then I don't want to hear anyone complain if the pick they take at 32 isn't good, and you want to pull up somebody. Why didn't they take on whoever got taken at 25? I don't want to hear that.
That person, yes, you should stomp all over.
Sawyer, book that there.
You're not
I don't want to hear
that from me. The reason I wanted to see Stafford succeed in the playoffs is to show people around here in Detroit that what a real franchise does. I was hoping that people around here would hold the Lions more accountable. The Lions are an inept franchise that we just let them do their thing. You know what? If you want to finish 3-13-1, fine. I still love you. If you want to go 60 years of one playoff win, I still love you. If you want to draft the wrong players time after time after time, I still love you. We don't do that with other franchises in this city.
Yeah.
Darren McCarty, if you only went to the Stanley Cup once and got your ass beat by New Jersey, guess what? People would be all over your ass. Steve Yzerman wouldn't be Steve Yzerman. You wouldn't be you. Because we held them accountable. Oh, they got to go back. Red Wings are
Hey,
great.
Terry, do you remember?
franchise.
Well, here's the whole thing. You remember, like, and I talk about this because if you remember 90, I came in 93, 94 with Scotty, but that year you win the President's Trophy, you lose in the first round, then you do, like, the accountability, we keep climbing the mountain, and it get to the point, these guys, there's half the people, a lot of people that were counting us out, didn't think we were tough enough, couldn't get there, we were too European, we had too many Russians, we weren't tough enough, we weren't all this. Like, that we had that negativity bearing down, except that we were, here's the blessing, we had Scotty Bowman as our shield or whatever, and at this time we kept revamping, remolding, and everybody in there was trying to get better. That's the whole motivation. But the accountability, yeah. You remember, Terry, there'd be articles and stuff about we'll never do it, they'll never do it. You know the bashing.
They won a
They're not
President's
tough
Cup.
enough.
And guess what? So what?
Lost to San Jose in the first round.
Right.
Yeah, but I mean, you remember the media, the way the media covered it and whatever. It was accountability. It wasn't like the way it was, and it got to the point where it was like, oh, we don't think you're going to do it. You know, we're going to think like that's. I'd say like 3 out of 4 people would have bet against us than bet with us until March 26th. Because that day it changed for everybody. It was like, and all over the world, right? Where I say the proverbial, it's going to be all right, don't know what it means, it's going to be all right. That was the wave. We're waiting for that because at the end of that day, we knew, all of us, fans, people, whatever, that something changed. That's what we're waiting for. And I tell everybody, I had the same feeling when I was standing there when Steve Yzerman was introduced as GM vice president. Few years ago, same feeling in the building, like it was like, oh, okay. That's why I sit here and go, it's not when, it's when.
And one other thing about their team, even when you were winning cups, like you're in the second round of a playoff series, it's like, okay, it's the second period, it's 1-1. What the hell is going on here? And you could hear it from the crowd. They're like, ooh, man. And so even then, when they're about to win a cup, people were holding them accountable. Like, how come the Wings aren't blowing this team out, 3-1 or 4-1 or something like that? You would hear that murmur in Joe Louis Arena, like, what's going on here? We don't do that with the Lions. It's like, this is our boys no matter what.
You know when I knew that you all were going to win a Stanley Cup, and you'll laugh at this, and this is
scored that goal. Like the kid said, when McCarty scored that goal, I knew we were going to win. I was like, I felt the same way.
No, when Fedorov won the league MVP, when Steve Yzerman got hurt.
Oh, that was when I knew. That was the first year, the President's Trophy, 93, 94 year.
That was when I knew. I knew that eventually.
You had 2 gunners.
You had
Steve
2
Sergei stepped up. Two dudes.
Yeah, you had two.
The
put in
two
NBA
dudes.
terms, you had 2 dudes,
The 2
man.
dudes.
Like that. That was it. You know, it was a dude of the energy drink world, Cintron World, an aspirational lifestyle beverage brand with a line of sparkling flavored energy beverages, premium bottled water, and revitalizer shots. Cintron, the official energy drink of the Red Wings, proud partners with the Detroit Pistons, and exclusively served at Little Caesars Arena. If you're looking for premium ingredients, long-lasting energy, balanced hydration, essential vitamins, and of course, great taste, Cintron is a top choice. Buy online at CintronWorld.com. Use a promo code RedWings10. Save 10% with shipping included. Drink it. Live it with Cintron.
Hi, my diamonds. It's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Hello? Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
What's the over-under? Should I tease? Who is the lock of the night? Make sure you're watching Woodward Bets to get the latest in sports betting and more. Woodward Bets daily on Woodward Sports.
Back and popping, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. My name is Neil Rule. He's DMac, Darren McCarty, T. Foss, Sam Flannel, Sawyer in the building as well from the Woodward Sports Studios. Brought to you by Planet Fitness here in downtown Birmingham, right in the heart of Birmingham. On our YouTube chat thread, remember, you can get involved, get your thoughts in there. Anderson Andrevel says, you claim to not have a strong connection to him and that it's about business and it's not personal, but your words betray you. Your organization was the issue before Stafford and with Stafford. And Anderson, look, here's my point when I make that argument is it goes back to me for the first time since the 90s, the early late 80s technically was when that team was starting to be built, but late 80s and early 90s, it's the first time that I do actually believe in the GM. To the point where, I'll set this in stone too, the Lions will win a playoff game in Brad Holmes' tenure. They will 100%, I would say within the next 5 years, will win a playoff game. Now, I'm not saying, is it going to be a Super Bowl?
Better be sooner than that. Better be maybe not next year, but the year after.
But see, but now we're 3 years into it. You know what I'm saying? Like it'll be there. It'll be there. Okay, it will be there just because of the way they build the team, the way they build the team financially, and the Bengals are on that track, and we're seeing it. But Anderson, I would say this to you. The hook with that statement is he had the ball in his hand with a chance to do it. You know, the one time the organization did set him up for success, he failed. And we can't argue this
point. And what did he learn? What did we just see?
What did we see yesterday?
What did we see yesterday? It goes
Got
to
it done.
Winning that playoff game, looking in the mirror, knowing what you could do.
And knowing what it took. And knowing what it took.
And knowing what it took, because he could. What could he go back on? We don't know what's going on in his head, but let me just play Matt Stafford on that last drive or whatever else, is that you're going to think back to when you've been in that position before and the times you did not succeed. So he goes back to the time with the Lions. He knows everything's on him, everything like this, and he goes out and executes. That's why my hat's off to him.
Yeah.
But you're correct. But here's what the franchise did. Always goes back to the franchise. They sort of broke that team up.
Well, they did because they chose not to bring back Sue. And that.
Right. No. Sue was out of here. Get that. They let Sue.
No. They didn't offer him as much money.
I was part of the Sue club. I was talking to Ndamukong Sue and his sister. They were out of here, dude. Don't blame. Here's what you could blame on the Lions.
He was gone before he was gone.
Blame the Lions who thought he was going to come back. Blame the Lions for thinking that all they got to do is give him a good contract offer. He was going to come back.
Yeah.
He was out of here.
Well,
he didn't want to come
but
back.
they offered him less. They offered him less than the Dolphins. That's a fact.
He was gone.
They offered, but Terry, and that's fine. That's fine. They offered him less money than the Dolphins did. And you want to talk about a guy that's about business? Ndamukong Suh's about business.
He's about business, but he was also about getting out of Detroit.
Sure.
Why? Because he knew this was a bad franchise.
Sure. And again, that's why this argument will go on for the rest of time, because all things are true. There's no side that's wrong. There's not, Terry. The pro Stafford people aren't wrong. The Stafford people that say the franchise failed him, they're not wrong. The people that say Matt Stafford had the ball in his hand with a chance to win the playoff game on the road and didn't do it, they're not wrong either.
But he didn't have this team to lead the Lions to that victory.
But Terry, that team that we're talking about, again, had a top 10 historically great defense in the NFL.
Except in the last 3 minutes of a game.
But Terry, They held the Cowboys. They held the Cowboys to what, 24 points in that game? Like, you got to score at some point to go. You got to score more than 6 points in the final 3 quarters of a playoff game to win it.
Or you can get a positive pass interference call.
See, yeah, that's both things, and that's why it's an enthralling argument. All those things are true.
Since you brought that up, Terry, can I ask both of you?
Do anything you want to do.
What you thought of the officiating of the game yesterday? Because I thought that was old school pocket. Put your flags in the pocket. I know that we had the conversation about the pass interference by Wilson down at the goal line, and I agreed with you that if it was somewhere else in the field during the game, but I saw the whole. You know what I mean? And I said to you, I think because it was on the goal line and because of the magnitude of that play. Was there worse ones or was there other stuff they could have called? But I was glad that the way they sort of let him play. They let him play. And where was the first Bengals flag? Like when you get flags on guys coming off the bench, or you're doing like it was only delay of games and a guy coming off the bench and getting flagged for after the interception. I mean, that's not good, right? I mean, like, we might not see this guy again, right? Like, I mean, like, that's just a bad thing to do when you're in street clothes on the bench. Don't do that, kids. But did you have any issues with the way the game was officiated?
For the most part, no. I had a issue with the Chase grabbing
Ramsey's face
mask. That is so blatant. That should be called. Now, as far as the pass interference penalties on the game-winning drive, you had to call those because they were grabbing. If you don't grab the guy, maybe the receiver makes the catch. The reason the balls were not completable is because they were pulling them back.
Yeah.
So you had to call that.
The one on the third down, like at the 3-yard line or whatever, that was a 50-50 to me. Which turned out to be the biggest call of the game because that got him the first. There was a 50-50 call. I'm not going to die on the hill to say they should call it. I'm not going to die on the hill to say they shouldn't have called it. That's a referee's judgment in the moment of the biggest game of the season, in the biggest play of the season. I could see it either way. I could be talked into either way on it. But the other ones were, they were blatant.
Pistons fans wanted me to make sure that it was Higbee, not Chase, that grabbed him. Higgins, right? T. Higgins?
T. Higgins, yeah.
T. Higgins grabbed by the face. He had two scores.
He did.
I mean, if they
caught
win,
a Joe Mixon touchdown pass.
I know. Which was razzle dazzle.
Which was over 2.5 people to throw a pass, which we'll talk about coming up in the next segment.
Wow.
Some of those type things.
Nice.
Speaking of that, I got you right, by the way.
But you're right, Terry. But it seemed more of an old school game because there was a lot of clutch and grab, and there wasn't holding every play. What do they say? They can call holding every play if they wanted in the NFL, but they pretty much let them play, and I enjoyed the game.
Much to the chagrin of the people that had the over, I'm sure, which we'll talk about in the next segment. Pistons fan 11. The problem with that argument, Neil, is it puts it all down to one play, and people use that argument to undermine Stafford's career. Well, here's the deal, Pistons fan 11. That's the nature of the NFL. It does come down to one play, Terry. Legacies come down to one play.
NFL
That's why it's great.
Is usually decided by 6 plays.
Yeah.
There's 6 key plays. You play for 3 hours, and it all comes down to 5 or 6 plays. That's just the NFL.
No, it is, and that's my point about it. Is it does only come down to one play. Ask Aaron Rodgers. I mean, we've talked about this as the playoffs have gone on right now. Aaron Rodgers' legacy has taken a hit. I mean, think about this, Terry. He's viewed in the same breath right now as Matt Stafford. Nationally.
Yep.
He is, because it's a bottom line, one play business.
Absolutely. And when you look at this bottom line business, wasn't every playoff game decided by 3 points?
Pretty much.
It was.
Or maybe 90% of them.
Or overtime.
That's what happens when you get the better teams playing against each other. It's going to come down
you go back
to
to that.
plays.
You look at that first week. Remember they extended the playout. They added a wild card team. And the first week after the first weekend, when you had these other teams in, which is that a small sample size to what would happen if you expanded college? Meaning that the beginning we were complaining. The wild card weekend, blowouts here, blowouts there, and stuff like this. But when they tightened it up and went down to the final eight, when the final 8 teams played each other, boom, you had some of the best football. This playoff football season, if you put those games, even take away the first weekend I'm talking about, but you put the last 3 weekends, you put the Super Bowl game, you put the division championships, and you put the quarterfinals in and stuff like that. That's great football. All great games down to the wire with everything. So what's it tell you? The dichotomy, the opposites attract, and as we get tighter together, it's entertaining. So hopefully that means, I always talk about it in hockey, the parity. Gary Beckman always wants it to the last game of the year for 8 teams to be seeded still with 1 game left. That's just the reality of it. So, it was entertaining. I was entertained.
Yeah. Dom Rivera says, Big D Energy's the best sports show going. We appreciate that, Dom. He also says, all I needed was a Jamar Chase touchdown to win $1,000. Damn you, Higgins. So we're going to talk about that next segment, though. The whole gambling angle, we're going to break all those things down. I have a lot to say about that. Let me see. What was the other point that I did want to bring up? Well, I'll save it for right now. Well, I'll get to it a little bit later on in the show. Robert Glover says, in 2014, what did the Lions do midseason or at the trade deadline? Nothing. The Lions won't make a splash, take a chance, and go after a big-name free agent. T. Foss, DMac, you were there. You talked to him, too. That conversation we had with Calvin Johnson changed my mind about that whole existence of the 2014 team and then the subsequent moves after that. And it's tied in, right, to the Aaron Donald thing because of the Eric Ebron thing. But, DMac, did it change anything for you when we talked to Calvin and he looked us in the eye and said point blank, we thought we were one player away and we thought Eric Ebron was that one player. And he believed that so much that he signed his final contract on it. He believed it $170 million.
There's a situation where everybody was on the same page in the locker room, in the team, and going out and even saying that they thought Ebron was the guy to get him over.
He bet his career on it.
So he bet his career. Here's the thing. You're all in it together. Sometimes it's not going to work out the way that it planned, but what did you sort of learn from that? But to me, you all went down together, fighting. It didn't work out, but that's not it. It's about the journey, the destinations and oasis. We're all talking about the end result, the rings and the destinations. Terry brought it up earlier. It's the journey. It's getting there and stuff like that. So when I hear that, it makes me feel better because they were all on the same page. It wasn't like, oh, no, we wanted Donald and this, and there was this Lions discord. Now it's not the same people there. It's not whatever else. But at some point, saying that we had a chance where everybody's on the same field and we were that close, I guess I didn't realize we were as close as they thought we were. Maybe I should pay more attention.
Calvin Johnson is not a scout. And to me, it's Calvin Johnson is following the lunacy of the Lions front office. He believed in these clowns.
I'm only saying, Terry.
I heard it.
What he's saying is it's coming from a player's mouth. That means the players in the locker room that are talking, and if it's Calvin Johnson, your best player, which he's supposed to be, so you're saying that the organization had him all buffaloed.
They had all the players buffaloed.
Okay, so there it is.
That's what I think.
So really they weren't that close because the organization, like you said, the wings were working.
But either way, it was incredible to get some of the thought process behind it.
And he put his career, on it.
He bet his career on it, man.
But you know what? You know who was smart in this whole thing? The fans. Because when the Lions picked Eric Ebron, they went, oh, my God, you got to be kidding me. Really? They knew before this dude even took the field because people saw that he dropped a lot of passes. Yes, he was athletic, but he wasn't that difference maker. I think the people saw through the Lions.
Hey, DMac, who's a difference maker in the home security field?
Well, I would have thought that this guy, if he retires from football, I mean, he's right here because just like Aaron Donald, Guardian Alarm, they get it. Whether for home or business, is good defense helps you feel secure. Guardian Alarm has state-of-the-art technology, helps you feel safe. All 24/7 monitoring, all right from your phone. Turn on the lights. Turn on the heat, the temperature up and down, cold, it's hot, whatever you want. Even the smoke detector in case your house gets on fire or for that deadly silent killer carbon monoxide. But in order to do that, I need you to call. So be part of the Big D Woodward Sports Network family today. Give Guardian Alarm a call. Call 1-800.
Stay out.
That's 1-800.
Stay out.
There's a whole bunch of people in the Birmingham roast. We need them to hear it. 1-800.
Stay out. Get out of my house.
You got it. 1-800. Stay out. Let them know. Woodward Sports sent you. Guardian Alarm, your local security experts. DMac, Neil Rule, T. Foss here. Big D Energy, Woodward Sports. Be right back.
Everything that we've hoped for, finally.
He's going deep, right side. Oh, that is Edwards out there. He goes up in the air at the goal line.
Hey, it's Brandon Edwards here, wanting to welcome the sports marketing agency to Woodward Sports Network, to the family. Glad to have you guys. For the last decade, the sports marketing agency has literally leveraged athletes around issues such as mental health and substance abuse.
It's all happening now.
You don't have to go to your butt crack full of sand. You just need a little chili peppers, man, to get that glowing beach chili peppers.
Monday, February 21st from 11 to 1 p.m. Join Woodward Sports and Big D Energy for the grand opening of the Berkeley Chili Peppers Tanning on Woodward between 11 and 12 Mile. Come hang and join the Pepper Club. Best deals on unlimited tanning.
You just need a little chili peppers, man.
Back at it, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Neil Rule, DMac, Darren McCarty, T-Foss, Sam Flannel's got a crispy-looking flannel on today. We got Sawyer in the house as well. He's rocking his Detroit Tigers hat with his Colts. What do you got, a vest on today?
Just a little quarter zip, you know.
Just a quarter zip?
Yeah, I woke up and I was like, Colts today.
Okay, woke up feeling dangerous, I'm sure.
Well,
This is my favorite part of the whole Super Bowl discussion. We're going to get into the commercials. We'll get into the halftime show and everything. I want your gambling stories right now. And some of them have been fired through here. I want all those gambling stories right now. And I'll lead off the conversation with this. T-Foss. Old Neil Rule with the Get Right special came through yet again. 14-5, and you'll love it, T-Foss. I told all the people, take all the money you're down, put it on heads in the coin toss, and you'll get right. And what happened? They got right. 14-5, documented by that man right there, the head of accountability, that guy, Darren McCarty. DMac, as we look back now, we recreate this football season. The Get Right special. And plus, two, given the circumstances, right? What do I always tell the people? Only use a pick if you have to. If you had a good weekend, then don't do it. But if you're in a hole, old Uncle Neil's going to get you out of the hole.
And then here's the thing. It sort of mirrored the championship team and the Los Angeles Rams because you didn't get off to a hot start. You didn't just blow the lead and front run the whole way. You were mired in the 500 around the 5 spot, but then you dug in playoff time. Most important part, when the lights and the cameras and the people are watching, and you just got on a tear, my friend. And
absolutely.
You've given the people what you want. So, just for argument's sake, so people know, what does 14-5 mean? 14-5 means, say, for example, you were betting $10 each. You would have an accruement of $140 with 5 losses. So you've lost 50 plus the VIG lost 55. So you can do the math. You're still up $85 on this Valentine's Day.
Betting
that
$10.
could probably betting $10 over the week. So right now, if you stick around for it, but you could on this Valentine's Day be taking that $85. Now it could be $850 or $8,500 depending on your increments. But your lady for Valentine's Day or your man. You know, right there, the Neil Rule.
Dinner would have been on old Uncle Neil.
Super Bowl special dinner on Uncle Neil. But no, congratulations. You've been really good with that.
Uncle Neil, how come you didn't tell Matt Stafford there was going to be heads?
Hey,
he didn't pick it. I mean, he didn't.
He demanded a trade out of here before I could tell him.
The coach told him from the sideline.
Yeah. David Mentier says, I lost $60 because the Rams didn't cover the minus 4.5. So those, I want to know. I want to know where you guys were at with it. And for me, the heads came in. This one, I am able. It's a prop bet. It's a coin toss, so I am able to engage in that. And I did. And I won. And so there you go.
I had a bunch of different props that I did not hit on, but the one I did hit on at plus 275 was my Neil Rule. Like it would have been like a get right. It was my bailout, but it was anybody other than a quarterback winning the MVP. So that one got me out of everything else. Plus 275, I thought that was pretty good. Pretty good money the way I saw it going out. And I also had, like I said earlier, plus 1,600 I lost on Aaron Donald. I put 100 on that. That would have been a good one.
Oh, yeah, that would have been a real good one. How about you, T-Foss? You got any squares or anything you had in there?
I was completely clear. No squares, no bets, nothing.
I have a question. Who is in a squares pool right after the Rams' second touchdown? Because when we used to play, it used to be quarters. But there's some big pools that I've seen that are in that every score changes pays. John, the Hecker, the holder, dropping that ball. We were talking about it earlier, how that could have came down and played out where you don't understand is missing that extra point and stuff like that.
Sure.
So I was wondering who had 4-0 at halftime and who had 3-0, like who won because the 4 didn't come in because he missed the extra point.
Now, I have never won any square pool I've ever been in, ever. in my life. And it goes back to when I got in my first one, I think, when I was like 9 years old or something like that, when the Bills played the Redskins. At that time, they were known as the Redskins. I'm still allowed to say it, right? Like, if they were known as that.
Yeah, they're going to call them Redskins for the next 5-10 years.
Yeah.
Just
but
like
I think the way
it's like you say the Chargers in San Diego still.
But I think the way you preface it, when I'm talking about them, they were the Redskins.
In that time frame,
right?
that's what they were known as. So I don't know. Like, I'm still walking gingerly with that one, but whatever. We'll continue to work through
I like
that.
Commanders better than the football team, though.
I agree with that. But anyway, but that's the closest I ever came. Was the first one I ever got into. Chip Lowmiller had like a 29-yard field goal. The dude hadn't missed a field goal all year. Had like a 29-yard field goal with 11 seconds left in the first quarter and missed it. Man, I was bitter. Man, was I bitter. And little did I know I would never win a square pool ever again. So, for me, it's I was just happy to cash in on that coin toss, though, because, I got to walk it like I talk it on that one. And I went pretty hard in the paint, too, on it, I do have to say.
You did go hard in the paint, too, but, that's what you do, down low, put back. You're trying to inspire Marvin Bagley III as when he puts on his Pistons uniform.
Yeah, so it's one of those things where, and I've seen a couple of the stories as well. A lot of people had the Rams covering the points, but how about you, Sawyer? Where'd you wind up at?
I didn't have any skin on the game or anything, so I was just enjoying it. I was watching our BDE prop bets that we did on Friday, though. Some of those hit, so.
Okay, yeah. Give me a recap of that. Obviously, I wasn't here. I was in Pittsburgh, so let me know.
Yeah, I mean, we had a pretty good slew, to be honest. We had like first score method, which that was a touchdown. And a lot of us said that was going to hit. Rams' first score, that one hit. And then, let's see, what will Eminem wear on his head? He wore a hat and hoodie. So that one was kind of a combo win. There was no safety. The Gatorade shower was blue. I was really banking on purple.
What was blue?
Blue was plus 400.
Yeah, see, that was a good one. You
Yeah.
sort of had to think the Rams, it was going to be blue or orange, right?
And then the national anthem, the over hit. It was like a minute 51 to like minute 55. Or whatever, and then her dress was predominantly blue. So if you took that one,
what was that on?
You made some money.
Man, a lot of
minus
chalk.
150.
A lot of chalk on the props.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Right?
but not quite chalk, but middling chalk that somebody out there could take some of like plus 400 for the Gatorade, and you mix that with a couple different things. Somebody hit something out there. I want to hear about it. Somebody hit something. I know my buddy hit I know that different gambling sites give out those free bets or whatever, and he used his free bets, and he nailed the final score at plus 2,500, like 23-20.
Well, I saw the conference championship weekend, T-Foss. Some guy had a parlay. He parlayed both scores exactly. It was a huge, like a $20 bet. What'd he get, like? It was a lot. It was like $80,000 or something. It was some crazy number that he got.
You should get more than that.
Did he hit?
You hit it dead on.
He hit?
He hit, but yeah, it was a parlay of the two games' exact scores. Yeah. Rich Diana says,
gosh,
I won
we
18.
Gotta find that story.
Yeah, I won $1,800 on a square pool a few years back. Don't remember anything about the game. We did see too. As far as the props go, Doughboy Steve said that he hit the blue Gatorade. Also,
nice, Doughboy
yeah,
Steve.
That
plus
is, yeah.
That's a nice look. And I preface this only because, like, the plus 400s and whatever. These are some that you're going to get these good. These are what the odds are in the racing world for the favorites.
Right. That's actually too like a really good value play. I think
value
because you got a team color of Gatorade at 4-1. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying.
And that's how.
That's
like
how
if they did that in hockey,
where's the why? Not the right or wrong. You try to find the why.
Yeah, the team
why
color
it would
thing.
be that way and stuff like
if
that.
If they did it in hockey, would you guys have dumped red Gatorade over Bowman? Probably, right?
Oh yeah, and
most Gatorade is red anyway.
The fruit punch. I'm usually team fruit punch.
There's a lot of you would have had a lot of guys lining up to dump Gatorade on you.
Hey, let me give you a piece of advice for prop bets for the Super Bowls for the rest of your life. If a sister is singing the national anthem,
it's going over.
Always go over. I'm a little disappointed. My girl yesterday didn't go like 2 minutes and 5 seconds. She barely went over.
But she held it. She had a nice and a point to the planes going over. I thought it was great.
Ryan's reaction said, I hit the over on Donald, over 0.5 sacks. Probably had to lay some money on that one, I would imagine. But good, you knew at some point he was going to get loose, and he's the guy really that shut it down too at the end.
Sawyer, is this true? Did you find it?
Yes, sir.
Oh, because is it true? Because Dom Rivera just said that the $20 bet won over $500,000.
Is that what it was?
It was a $20 bet, and it won $579,020.
That makes more sense. That's you can't.
Which scores?
It was Bengals 27, Chiefs 24, and Rams 20, 49ers 17. So championship weekend.
And it was a $20 free bet, if memory serves.
$20 bet for $579,000.
All right. Well, it was out. I guess they're out there. If you show me that it can be done, right? It's the same ad as if I walk by that slot machine that I know hits. You might find me sitting there.
You know who else was a big winner on Super Bowl Sunday? Anyone that had some Gypsy vodka in their glass, because it took exploring 50 different formulas, hosting countless taste tests, but we believe Gypsy is the best tasting, smoothest vodka on the market. It's gluten-free, it's corn distilled 6 times, they use artesian spring water. That's all well and good and everything. The bottom line is you pour it in a glass with some ice, it's going to taste good. Throw some club soda in there, some lime. That's how I roll. I may or may not have had one or two yesterday evening as I partook in the Super Bowl extravaganza. I'm just saying, I may have. You can support local guys from right here in the state of Michigan, proudly made in Petoskey, Michigan. It's Gypsy Vodka. Ask for it by name. As always, drink responsibly.
Hi, I'm Kay Cunningham. I'm proud to partner with Hall Financial, the mortgage company known for 5-star service. Don't just take my word for it. Check out their 5,000 5-star reviews for yourself. Go to callhallfirst.com and get started with your 5-star experience today.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Opinions are like ear holes, and we're putting ours in yours.
Well, that's not winning, Joy.
It's Woodward Sports.
Coming down the stretch, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, wrapping up the Super Bowl discussion with DMac, Darren McCarty, T. Foss in the house. We got Sam Flannel and Sawyer. There's a critical question for you, T. Foss, on the YouTube chat thread. Mike G wants to know, T. Foss, did you think the Anthem girl was fine, and would you go there?
Would I go there? Yeah, I would go there. She was nice looking.
Absolutely.
You're a country fan, Terry?
No, I had no idea who she was.
Okay. Just wondering. No, I mean, she's fine.
Mr. Sammy G2, M wearing a hat or a hoodie was an easy one. Yeah, but you had to lay the price on there to get it. So, I'm happy that it seemed to work out for a lot of folks out there. Again, just make sure you're wagering responsibly. We always have to put that one out there. The halftime show yesterday, and it caught fire around social media. And I know everybody was vibing back to the early to mid-'90s, and Snoop and Dre are out there with Eminem and Mary J. Blige, and 250 Cent was, hanging up there like a cocoon, as someone said earlier in the chat thread. And it was great. And here's why I thought it. For those of you watching on YouTube right now, there's Fitty.
The cocoon. I'm going to think of cocoon now.
There's Fitty hanging up there like a
giant bat.
I was like, don't fall.
I thought it was great. I was feeling it. Even my kids, and when we talk about the commercials, I'll talk more about some interesting things that I observed with my kids watching the game with them. Even my kids, my daughter who's 6 was into it and started dancing around the living room and all that stuff. And I'll say it like this. So my wife, as you guys know, is a teacher, and she was checking math tests during the Super Bowl. When the halftime show came on, she didn't come in to look at it, but once the music started playing, they started performing, she stopped what she was doing and watched it. And I thought that was a good sign of it was very entertaining, very good show.
Absolutely. I thought it was entertaining for everybody. And honestly, like Neil, it's sort of our age range. That's sort of the narrative of growing up. Like I said, the late 1900s, right? It takes you back to, Dre 2001 and stuff like that. All the songs, that reminds me right in the wheelhouse of playing. Every one of those artists, it's something bring back some history, and I think that what you nailed is what they were trying to nail, is bring everybody in to watch, because people are around during the Super Bowl and they know that. Some people I'm around some people that just are there to watch the commercials, don't want to miss the commercials. You know, the game's the game, you're talking during the game and stuff like this, but watching the commercials. The halftime show's the same thing. Now, nothing will ever beat Purple Rain, Prince, with the rain coming down, playing that just because how epic that was. But I was thoroughly entertained in this halftime show. I thought it was great. And don't forget, Modelo's Anderson .Paak on the drums.
T-Foss, was it an all-time performance?
I thought it was an all-time performance, and yeah, I'll agree that Prince was probably better. But when you think about the halftime shows, you think about the Prince, and then there was the malfunction with Janet Jackson, but that has nothing to do with the music. It was just that her breast came out. So
and that's good enough for you, Terry.
Good enough for me. and I missed it too. I didn't even see it. But
Yeah.
But the MVP of the halftime show was Eminem. He made a social stand. He took a knee.
Yeah, after the NFL told him not to.
Yeah.
And that's the best
Right.
part. That is such the Detroit versus everybody, and you hear that the NFL wanted him not to take a knee when Dre went to the piano, and what did our boy do? Yeah, okay. Nope, this is him being him, and to your point.
Yeah, you don't tell him what to do.
No, well, pretty much most people from Detroit, unless
Right.
you can offer him the idea, but in that case, that's the biggest thing about. I don't know, which is bigger, that people that did notice of what it was, that's him making it. You always want athletes to use their platform. Well, he used his platform to be him and to be consistent to what he believes.
And now he'll never be able to play quarterback in the NFL again, right?
He's not going to play quarterback, but he's still going to make music, though. But see, I thought it was significant and important because it's a white guy doing it. Because when you talk about what Colin Kaepernick did, mostly it's black athletes who have taken a knee. Eminem did that, and I think now, since he did that, it resonates into everybody believing that this police state that we have here there's something needs to be changed, and I'm glad he did it. So he's MVP for me.
And that's very cool. Machiavelli Sucks to Go says, rap is crap. Take Prince all day. And I noticed that there was that line out there on social media, too.
Competition.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Why are you making things compete when it's what you want? Like, you know what I'm saying?
This sounds like the day of disco. Oh, I hate disco, and, it's the same thing.
We got into the whole, and Sawyer remembers this, we got into the whole millennial Gen X baby boomer thing. That was prevalent on social media, and I mean it was all out generational war on social media. Simo313, the guys who were part of the F the Police movement, and another guy who threatened a sitting president, half naked chicks. Yeah, that's great family entertainment. See, I didn't catch that vibe because they didn't. Nope. They sang their songs based on the over-the-air lyrics and everything like that. And like I said, I watched it. I have a 14-year-old, 12-year-old, and a 6-year-old daughter. And I didn't have any issue with anything that was going on. I didn't.
I didn't either. And
everybody who said he was trolling or doing whatever, well, obviously it worked because he was doing it to you if you take that personal. I thought that they and to whatever else, if there were statements being made or whatever like that, there's been worse ways to try not to make a statement than what happened there. And for you to sit here and deal as my friend and to say that your family was watching and whatever like that, and you thought it was great, that's what I took out of it. But again, I'm not trying to look for all the negative things and whatever. All the stuff about, I didn't realize about the kneeling, and like Terry said, how apparent because it's a white guy and Eminem and other different things, people are gonna focus in positive or negative the way they want. It's not a competition, but again, to me, it was a statement of sort of my adulthood. I liked it. I enjoyed it.
I think people need to realize their kids are more sophisticated than you think. That
is it right there, Terry.
Was not offensive to. I'm sure there was no kids like, oh my God, look at this. Look at Mary J. Blige. No, I was looking at it because she was thick. I thought she looked good, but I didn't think it was really revealing. I didn't think it was outrageous or anything like that. And plus, your kids see more than that on a daily basis. They don't tell you about it, but they do.
That's what's good. Can confirm, man.
Now you're speaking truth, Terry. Careful. Careful. People don't like the truth.
Chris Schultz says, be honest, a halftime show was horrid. They half-assed it. If you went to any of their concerts, they are 10 times better. They got like 12 minutes for 5 people to perform, man.
A 15-minute concert is not going to be as good as a 2-hour concert. Stop with that.
I thought they mashed it good.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing, and I'm going to get heat for saying this one because there was a lot of love for this guy. I thought Kendrick Lamar could have been better. Just that, I think that, and people get criticized for when they do this with the halftime shows, but if you're at the Super Bowl halftime show, you got to play the hits, man.
Right.
You got to play the tier 1, top of the charts hits that you have in the repertoire. I thought Kendrick, I thought
they had to play Dre songs, all Dre produced songs. So, right, which is what they had.
Okay, so that stipulation was on there.
Yes.
Then. Okay, gotcha. Well, then that makes a little more sense.
They were all produced by Dre because it was Dre Day.
Man, I don't have the street cred I thought
but
I used to.
But it shouldn't have been songs that you never heard of before.
Okay, I agree. But what I'm saying is that we might not have heard them, but obviously they're produced by Dre, and that was the L.A. Dre Day, all those things. That's why you didn't hear Mary J. Blige. That's why you heard, you didn't hear. I heard earlier this morning, Dina Centofonte on Fox 2 wanted to hear a song, but that's the reason it wasn't because it was all produced.
Gotcha.
by Dre.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't catch that. That one went above me. Mickey Lum Phelps says real hip hop, loved it, and I lost the one that another person talked about, but they gave the angle of this, Terry, and I think this is accurate too. It was good to see the NFL get into the hip hop era because the NBA has done such a great job of that through the times. And I will say this about the NFL: they are often late to the party, but at least they show up. Unlike Major League Baseball, who never shows up.
Well, and the NFL just so happens to be a little bit shy on black coaches, so I'm sure that was a part of, we got to, show some people some stuff. But that's not good enough for me. The NFL is still behind the times, as far as black coaches are concerned. And I know what some people say, what do you want, all black coaches? No. How about more than one? I know we got 2 now. Oh, wow.
You know what's amazing, and forget that, but the time that goes by, and I know Lovie Smith just got hired in Texas, but the time that goes by that there isn't some, because everybody's still coaching. Guys are getting older. There's this is 20, 30 years of systems of coaching that we know because we watch, whether it's in the high school area here, whatever, of all the influence that, minority coaches or whatever. It's not just that. You see it all around, and that's the big miss is that it's not the guys. You keep retracting guys that I've heard of 20 years ago, but where's the new next? There's got to be these young guys here. If we're going to get excited about
DMac, here's the thing with that is, and I think we're seeing it too, not only on our YouTube chat thread with a couple of people, but you saw this on social media. There's a certain segment that aren't ready for that yet. You got to ease them into that. You know what I'm saying? You got to give them the names that they're familiar with before you hit them over the head with that.
Should there not be more, why isn't there, and not just college we see, but assistant coaches, but guys working the ranks up and saying, oh, okay, but in a few years. We always do this with other guys. We see it last night with McVay being the golden child because if they had to do something with him at 30 because they knew he'd be gone at 32 and he's young. I get it, but the football acumen of there's more McVays out there, and I'm sure they're not just white and whatever.
Right.
How do you get the flux of that in there?
Well, that's what I'm talking about, with the halftime thing, where I say you
got
to.
That's a baby.
It's like the halftime thing, where you have to. There's a segment of people, and you know who they are. You know who I'm talking about. That you can't just change it up like that on them. You got to give them some brand names and slide those in first, and then matriculate your way.
But isn't that how we got here? Because I agree more with Terry. It's more like, yes, thanks, great, you did whatever like this. But then again, it's the NFL. So are you just doing that to appease because you just came out through? I don't know. I'd like to see more consistency than to see more opportunities or more guys in coaching stuff. But I mean, maybe the answer is that there's not qualified coaches. But I just seem to disagree with that because as time goes by and talk, that's
the bottom line is some 80-year-old white dude with varicose veins does not feel comfortable having a black dude run his franchise. So he'll come up with all kinds of excuses. I always hear, they don't what's the whole thing? Oh, they don't interview well.
So is this one of those things, Terry, that unfortunately only time can handle this? Which meaning that you have to allow people to move on, and hopefully people that are in control after that, and then isn't that what happens? People have to like move on into the afterlife and pass away, and it's handed down and it's done differently, break the trend. Is that what we're sort of waiting for?
That's probably accurate, but also you have to be confident that a black dude can coach a football team, which he can, because but the fans still have they have a guard up too, because every time there's a black guy's up, was he qualified?
Well, it blows me away.
I never hear a white guy, is he qualified?
But it blows me away, right? That, like, to have this how long's Mike Tomlin been the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Long time.
Which with the Rooneys, whatever like that, I would have thought a long time. We're talking about trees or pedigree, not just in his system, but why has that not opened up other franchises? You know what I'm saying? I would have thought that would have been a stepping stone to what we're talking about, but yet years and years and years later, we're still fighting the same thing.
Because I think the belief is, well, he's the exception. You know, Mike Tomlin is the exception. For instance, I'll go back to my profession in journalism. Whenever they would start a new magazine or a new newspaper, they never hired black people. And the excuse was, well, we can't find them. That's what they always said. Meanwhile, we're covering Super Bowls, we're covering the NBA Finals, we're doing all this stuff, and they can't find us. And so I think they weren't looking for us is more accurate. And
really weird concept, isn't it,
right,
Terry?
how about that?
Really weird.
But so that's to your point then, is that hopefully they start looking more now.
I'll tell you what's not hard to find. One of the best betting sites out there, mybookie.ag. Your team might have missed the big game this year, but MyBookie's double deposit bonus will make sure you won't. There's no shortage of exciting props and everything that you want to do and all this, because that stuff lives on. It doesn't have to be the Super Bowl. You want to get in prop bets and things like that. They have all that stuff for the NBA. They have all that stuff for the NHL. All of it on mybookie.ag. Use the promo code Woodward. They'll double your first deposit all the way up to $1,000. So that's it. Tap into mybookie.ag and get your action in. You know, March Madness just around the corner. We'll be there in like 4 weeks. March Madness will be going on. Then you go into April, baseball starts. The Masters, golf is big. Betting on golf is a lot of fun. A lot like the NASCAR. You want to get down on it? So I showed it with Sawyer. I got down on the NASCAR at the Clash. Hell yeah, man. Yeah. Why not? Put
this weekend.
Put $5 or $10.
This weekend.
The quarter mile with Sawyer is going to be big. And hey, when you get all the inside info from Sawyer, go to mybookie.ag. Use the promo code Woodward. Double your first deposit all the way up to $1,000. You can bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. Have a problem with gambling? Call the Michigan Gambling Helpline, 1-800-270-7117.
Hi, my diamonds. It's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Hello? Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
It took exploring 50 different formulas and hosting countless taste tests, but we believe Gypsy Vodka is the smoothest vodka on the market. Don't believe us? Ask the owners.
We're Mike and Adam Kazanowski with High Five Spirits Distillery. We're in close to about 1,200 locations throughout Michigan. We wanted to create a brand that was geared more towards freedom, love, adventure, and at the end of the day, we really wanted to tell a story that inspired other people to take risks, follow their dreams, whatever that might be.
Coming on the stretch here, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neil Rule, T. Foss, Terry Foster, Darren McCarty, Sawyer, and Sam Flannel. Got to talk commercials in the game yesterday. And there were, I think this kind of ties in my main point about it. And we'll talk about our favorites in just a couple of minutes. But one of my favorites was the Coinbase one with the QR code that just bounced across the screen. And as soon as it came on, I mean, obviously I figured it was a company of some sort that just wanted you to scan their QR code, which I thought was brilliant, by the way, because the way DMac described it, and this is exactly how my sons were. They were the exact same way. It's coming across there, and for about 5 seconds, 10 seconds, and you're like, I could see my sons like fighting the urge, and then finally they caved, and they got their phone out, and they scanned it, and then my middle son was like, oh, it's a crypto platform. It's a crypto selling company. Coinbase, I think it's called, is what he said. And DMac, you said you couldn't fight the urge.
I was beside Eddie Venom / J.R. Adams, my stunt buddy, watching the game with him and his lovely wife, and it popped on screen, and we looked at each other and go, you know they want you to hit that, right? And we got this conversation, and the longer it went, yeah, I pulled my phone out, I hit it, I turned to I went at Coinbase, and then at the end of the commercial it tells you what it is or whatever like that. But it's just, I think there's something there, not only with innovation, but wave of the future, not only with QR codes, but that, like the interest, the intrigue. You saw that too with
they attach you through your phone.
Metaverse commercials and, different things like that. That was, to me, the theme was electric cars and metaverse.
Yeah, and Terry, again, just kind of with my sons, watching them do it, and you brought up the point earlier. You said you don't know. You think you know, but you don't know what's going on in your children's lives for the most part. You know what I'm saying?
And they don't tell you.
And with that being said, that was a good look. And then cycling through social media as that happened, we saw that just the further generational divide that we have right now, where the quote-unquote boomers, I saw some people on there, like somebody tweeted, said, I'm 65 years old. Just tell me what I have to buy, and I'll go buy it. As long as you put some good colors on there, I'll go buy it. Did you pick that vibe up at all, T. Fawcett? It was a generational, maybe the most generational Super Bowl of all time.
Yeah, that one, when that thing was going across there, first of all, my phone won't pick it up. For whatever reason, I go in the restaurant.
Because it's a flip phone, Terry. You got to get off the flip phone. They don't have
I do
the
not
QR.
have a flip phone. Ha, ha, ha. I just never get it right. But I said, this is a commercial for my son. Because they just put it up there and bam. So, yes, it is generational. And you have to be generational because you have to hit the next target audience. And I just know this. Every crypto coin commercial, whatever, I liked him, but I tuned him out because I knew that's something I wasn't going to do. My daughter, she's all into that stuff. So that commercial was for her, who, by the way, didn't watch the Super Bowl.
Mike G says the GM Electric Silverado Sopranos ad was dope. And I know that we kind of like ranked our top three, that we thought that we liked the most. And I really enjoyed the Rocket Mortgage Barbie Dreamhouse commercial, T-Foss. I don't know if you caught that one.
I saw that one.
I see what I love about the Super Bowl commercials, right, is if you dial in early to a celebrity, right? That's not there. The one we're talking about, the Rocket Mortgage, is Anna Kendrick, right? So it's going to be some sort of goof, but it starts out because it has you like a real commercial. Then you're going, oh, is this serious? And then it goes off the rails. And to me, it's you got to, if you make me laugh, the enjoyment, the entertainment, it's funny.
See, Neil, you can have fun. A little lesson for you.
What are you talking, Terry? I have fun all the time. I have fun every day of my life.
Did you hear his voice?
Well, his fun and our fun is just a little different. See, mine, and I think Sawyer and I agreed upon it, was the first one right out of the rip was the E-Trade baby was back. And I just come on, man, I'm retired. And then I pop when he gets on the plane and his other baby buddies are there. Whatever the baby buddies, I always love those because they've always been since back in the day when he's on the computer and stuff. So I guess the nostalgia-wise, that one I liked.
Nostalgia was a big component yesterday.
It was. Nostalgia was a big component, and I think that was the enjoyable part. But I'm going to give the nod to the baby, and I hope to see more of them.
The electric cars, I like the little electronic dog. He was happy. He was trying to chase the car, and then he finally gets the car, and then he leaps down there, and he runs out of battery, and the guy boosts him full of batteries, and he's all happy and everything. I kind of like that because I got sad.
Listen, that's the wave of the future. You're going to not have a real pet. You're going to have an electronic pet that you got to recharge.
Well, as long as you don't have to clean up after it, then I'd be on board.
Well, that's the thing. Oh, but it might dump batteries.
Yeah, I don't think electricity is going to be $4
I like
a
the
gallon.
also too. You know what the electric one is keeping up with the Joneses, and then it's now keeping up with the Jonases.
Yeah.
You know, Nick Jonas, Tommy Lee Jones.
For me though, I like the Barbie Dreamhouse thing where she's like, well, there's going to be multiple offers, and here comes House Flipper Skipper, and then cash offer Carl.
Wait, and we got a new one over on thing, and it's Castle Grayskull. It brings out He-Man, and it's got Skeletor and stuff. So that's the nostalgia pop, because those are the things that we grew up with. You know, like that great along those lines. I get it.
Yeah,
I think they did a good job at which make me realize where Terry says, "Oh, that's for my daughter." Right? You look at the LeBron James. That was a cool commercial. The way that a young LeBron talked. Oh, but it's a crypto for the young people. Plus, they had the halftime show for sort of the middles, but there was some nostalgia in there for everybody. So maybe commercial-wise, they covered the gambit a little bit more for everybody.
But you know what? Those were for the kids. By the way, neither one of my kids watch the Super Bowl. So even though they had the commercial, were young people really watching those commercials? I'm sure they were, but mine weren't.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty solid, you know, as far as commercial. I know the commercial's been getting a lot of heat lately, that people say that they aren't good. I thought overall that they were pretty good.
And shout out to our studio sponsor, Planet Fitness or whatever. Like I said to you there, that was a good spot. The if you haven't seen the Planet Fitness spot, that was a great spot too. So that technically, Planet Fitness, that was my number one.
Yeah, and then I liked seeing, of course, Darren McCarty from Woodward Sports on a Super Bowl commercial, too, as well, with Barry Sanders.
Yes.
And
I'm
Kirk
not
Gibson.
coming to Darren for legal advice, but...
No, or money, or anything like that.
He's not going to give me money.
But what if somebody owes you money, DMac? What if somebody owes you money? Could I come see you then? Like, if I have somebody that owes me money? We could work out a business arrangement.
You come see me, then I'll introduce you. Then we'll make a call.
Yeah.
Right, and then 80% of your money will show up.
So you said Darren is in the mob? Is that
No,
what you're trying to say?
that's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying it's about business, Terry.
This goes back to Neil thought he was with the streets as much as whatever, but this just goes that as much as I'm in the streets.
Yeah. 80%. We'll get you 80% of your money.
We'll get you 80% of your money back.
That's a deal. That's a deal to me, because I'd rather have 80% of something than 100% of nothing.
There you go.
No, but you talked about the Planet Fitness commercial. And look, the bottom line is that Planet Fitness is a home of the judgment-free zone where you can work out in a non-intimidating, judgment-free atmosphere. Membership right now, you can join for just $10 a month. That'll get you all the access to your home gym. They have a black card option as well for $22.99 a month, and that will get you access to the massage chairs, the hydro massage, and more than that, over 2,000 locations worldwide with unlimited guest privileges. You can join in club or online right now. You can stop what you're doing, pause the show, and go to planetfitness.com, sign up, and get it in. No matter where you are, there's a Planet Fitness close by. There's one open now in Midtown Detroit at the Detroit Pistons Performance Center. Right now, they have the deal going. $0 down, $10 a month, and you are in your home club, as we talked about. They're also hiring all positions. For more information, go to planetfitness.com. Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential.
Fellas, football season is here. It's time to make your grooming experience easy like Sunday morning. Get to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Walk in, relax, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Get to Lady Jane's, open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Season for us, we're talking sports 365. Detroit Sports Network. Woodward Sports.
Neil Rule here for Chili Peppers Tanning. It's where you find the cleanest salons in the D with spotless, sanitized rooms, trained and certified tanning professionals. Join the Pepper Club for all the best deals. They'll beat all competitors by $5. Chili Peppers Tanning has the hottest bulbs, the hottest deals, the darkest tan, and is your vitamin D headquarters. 26 locations and more on the way. And we'll be out at the Berkeley grand opening Monday, February 21st. That's next Monday from 11 to 1 at Woodward Avenue between 11 and 12 Mile. Come on out. check out Big D Energy, and check out Chili Peppers Tanning. Final segment of the show. Close out the Woodward Sports chat poll. If the Lions, if we could hand this scenario to you, if the Lions could make the Super Bowl and lose or not make the Super Bowl at all, 82% of you said you'd rather see the Lions make the Super Bowl and lose. So there is that. We got story time coming up with DMac, Darren McCarty, who's going to take the place of T. Foss. Did want to touch on this, though. Erin Jackson making history at the Olympics after starting to skate 6 years ago. Starting to skate 6 years ago. Became the first black woman to win an Olympic speed skating medal. 6 years ago, the first time.
That's crazy because usually you hear about kids starting at age 6.
This ain't she learned and she made the Olympic team.
Look, this was 6 years ago. And for those of you watching on the YouTube chat thread right now, 6 years ago, stepped on the ice for the first time. That's crazy that she's the best in the world in 6 years.
Okay, here's the thing. Congratulations to her. Manifest your own reality, whatever like this. This is awesome. You know what I'm saying? If you watch her skate and the fact that you'd be very proud as somebody who spent his career on blades, that is not easy to do, especially, again, with a speed skate. I couldn't skate around ice with a speed skate. I can barely skate around ice with a hockey skate. So congratulations to winning the gold. That to me, like, you don't understand. Boom. Unbelievable feat.
That cool things that was a part of the story, too, is she actually, during the Olympic qualifying events to make the team, she stumbled in the 500 meter and failed to make it. But her teammate, Brittany Bowe, gave up her spot on the Olympic team so Jackson could go to Beijing and compete, and then she wins the gold medal. So, I mean, that's just amazing.
Bigger than life, bigger than everything else. So, congratulations. Those are the stories I love to hear of the Olympics. That's the stories that I want to hear. And it's not about winning, although it is about winning, but just the fact that competed.
And the other thing that's funny about this, if you had gone up to her, as she's stumbling across trying to skate 6 years ago, and she said, "I'm going to be in the Olympics one day." You were like, "Okay, sister, whatever." Yeah, right.
One day, I'm going to win an Olympic gold in 6 years. What?
Yeah, and I'm going to be president of the United States.
Yeah, well, you better get to campaigning, T. Foss. Another note we have to pass along, the former voice of Michigan football, obviously a radio icon in this town as well, Frank Beckman, passed away over the weekend. Very nice dude. I know you have a lot of personal interactions with him.
I played a lot of golf with Frank. To me, if J.J. McCarthy was the WJR voice of my father's generation, Frank Beckman was mine, and just to get to know the guy. And the best thing about Frank is you could ask him about anything. He was well-versed on every subject. So he will be missed, and I just think that it's important that we just show our respects, and he was a good dude.
Yeah, and really nice guy. I remember when I met him, said a ton of nice things about me and about what I do, and I was blown away, A, that he even knew, and then B, for him to verbalize those things. And had a friend of mine, her mom was a big Frank Beckman fan. I sent along a note to him, recorded a little video, made her day, man. Made her absolute day, and that was the kind of guy he was. So certainly sad to see that. But we talked about earlier on, and we were talking about Snoop Dogg and how incredible he is at 50 years old being out there. DMac piped up, and we said, hey, story time with T. Foss. T. Foss can take a break. He's shared a lot of stories, and we've been entertained.
I'm entitled.
Yeah.
Take a break.
But DMac has hung out with Snoop Dogg before, so someone demanded we have story time with DMac. So DMac got about 2 minutes here. Give me the Snoop Dogg story.
Well, I got the D.O. double jizzle, and we all know Trick's the godfather of Detroit.
I need a drop of that one, Sam Flannel.
Yeah, right. Exactly. The D.O. double jizzle. Anyways, Trick, obviously the godfather of Detroit. And if you see the picture up there, too, shout out to my boy Marty Sheedy from Project Scissorgate, Snoop and me. We've actually smoked. I'm going to go to the archives because Trog, who's a famous High Times drawer, has drawn characters with me and Snoop in it for different events. So that specific event was up at Fenton Hydroponic, owned by Big Boogie. So Snoop would come into town, did a sort of meet and greets and stuff like that, and had an event. But the one time, the best story is the first time. This is probably the third or fourth time we've hung out. But the first time we were up at one of the places up in Flint, and he comes in with his tour bus, and we're having sort of a Christmas event. So all the people there, but he comes in, and it's always the one thing. It's true if you know me or whatever. But he always had Uncle Junebug with him. Uncle Junebug and Junior would roll all the blunts and whatever. He had his own blunt roller, and he had his own guy, so he didn't have to do it because he's always busy, but there's always something there. So anybody who knows my boy Erin, who's my right hand, about that time back then in the game, so I nicknamed Erin Blunts, and he was my guy. Well, Erin quit smoking blunts. Now he only rolls papers. That's beside the point. Beside the point is we smoked all of Snoop's security and everything out where Snoop knows that the Detroit boys can smoke down. Now he is the D-O-double-G. He's if he's got it, he's smoking it and whatever. But what a friendly, nice guy, and everything you see about him is who he is. To me, the person that I see on TV, whether it's watching a game show, him host Joker's Wild, whether it's hanging out with Martha Stewart or whatever, he is the Renaissance man of my generation, and I'm proud to call him a friend. And I can't wait till he comes back in town so we can smoke dope.
You know
well, there
you
have it.
You know what I take out of that? I knew Darren was a big deal, but I didn't know he was this big of a deal where he's got somebody else rolling his dope for him.
Well, my guy don't roll. He don't. No, listen, Terry, I did, except now I got to roll. I still smoke blunts, and he doesn't. So if I want to smoke joints, then I
so you're
have
doing
to
your
suffer.
own now. Okay,
No,
now
it's just I lose. Snoop still wins. That's the end of the day. But that's good. There it is. So when the D-O-double-G is back in town, I'll let you know.
You hit it? Can you hit it? Could you text him right now?
Could I? I could, but I wouldn't.
No, I know. Do you have the ability? You know that.
The
that's all I'm
ability
saying.
is always there.
All right, there you go. So hey, again.
Actually, in my bucket list, by the way, as I leave you, I've smoked already with Aaron Lewis, Jamie Johnson, both musicians that are big fans of. Tommy Chong is the godfather. He's sort of like family, so that he doesn't count. And obviously Snoop. So Willie Nelson, I'm coming. I will. I'm not scared like Toby Keith. Not scared. Let's go. Big D energy.
I think that's a good way to sign off. So for DMac, McCarty, Terry Foster, Sam Flannel, and Sawyer, my name is Neil Rule. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, everyone, to Big D Energy. See you tomorrow, 11 a.m. sharp. Well, see you later.